Yeah, so here we go again. I managed to do some proofreading yesterday and implemented today. I did also have a shave yesterday and go to the tea joint. I didn't manage to talk to myself, I guess. Was just too preoccupied otherwise, and I was not very productive in my eyes at least. The one thing I did also manage though is I also done some meal prep, some cooking. Had a third the food yesterday. Have a third with me now. Some have already in me. Um, and have another third in the fridge at home. Done over a kilo of food, meal prep, so that's something, you know. Uh, I have handed off the main part, the body of the thesis, to my mate for proofreading because I believe they have the best English of all the people I know, though they are not English. Apparently, there's other countries on Earth with primary language English as well. It's not English, but it's English apparently. Uh, I am paying them because, in my opinion, one should, even less so from friends, expect them to do work for free. I mean, if someone's not a friend or so, people work on the premise of or on the promise of future work. But with a friend, I mean, one would want to support them in their endeavours. So I wouldn't want a friend to do the work for free, you know. I can only afford to pay them for 2 hours, or I can only justify paying for 2 hours of their time, I guess. Because the thesis is worth so much less now. This is still settling in me. I have yet to figure it out proper. Yeah. I mean, I still got to write something on symmetry because I kind of want to do symmetry for my thesis film as well, but you know, that's just how it is. Today, position-wise, obviously I am in the car. The car is parked opposite the German Archaeological Institute's library, which is diagonally across from the Iranian embassy. So I have two people eyeing me as I speak from across the road, just because they think I may be sus, you know. I guess good news is I am freshly shaven, so at least I'm presentable. They already got the stubbles. Today I spent most day in limbo. Then I did manage to implement my changes I'd made yesterday for the thesis main part and send that off to the friend. Besides that, I didn't do much. Yesterday I didn't even proofread the attachment, the shot-by-shot breakdown, and I think I won't ever. Because considering it's worth only 3 credits at the most, the whole thesis, I'm not willing to put in the time and the effort in reading something that's really not fun. I mean, it's a shot-by-shot breakdown, it's second by second, frame by frame. So I'm just going to leave it unproofread, and if they find language errors in it, verbs missing or so be it. It's kind of problematic for my perfectionism, I guess. One might call it being autistic, you know. But it's not viable. I've yet to go across the border to tank. The light just went off, which means I've been stood still for 7 minutes. There we go. Moment the camera's going to turn on. Yay. I have not gone to tank, but I have driven here, which is fairly far out across town, I guess. I've never been in this neck of the woods. First time driving these roads, but I got here by just driving straight from a central point. So I'm surprised how little traffic there is, because there is, I guess, it is straight from a very central point from Zoo, basically. There is 2 roundabouts on the way and a couple of bigger junctions. But one would think just driving straight from somewhere, one would get somewhere. Beyond me, there's a junction at which you're only allowed to turn right. Once you have turned right, you can turn any direction, which means you can turn left to turn around, do a U-turn, and then turn left again to come back into the street, which is how I got where I got. It was a very odd manoeuvre for turning around, I guess. I believe I'm still. I'm repeating myself now, but I believe I still have to digest. I have yet to digest the news of the thesis not being worth anything. Well, being worth 3 credits, so 75 to 90 hours of workload. Don't sit well with me. Haven't digested it yet, so I don't know how I'll end up with it, but that's just how it is, and I can't change that. All I can do now is invest the minimum viable effort from here on out to get past, to finish it up and have it printed. I haven't even inquired with the print shop yet what they would want. Odds are they'll want a PDF, which is fine by me, I guess. I certainly do not mind. I'll most certainly assemble the whole thing with the attachment, the bibliography, the cover sheet, table of contents, and so on outside of Microsoft Word, just because I have 3 kinds of pages, and I'm not familiar enough with Microsoft Word page numbering schemes to actually realise that within Word myself. So I'll just do the Roman numerals, which is things like cover sheet, table of contents, bibliography. I'll do those as one Word doc with Roman numerals. I'll separately make a table of contents, and I'll probably end up having 4 PDFs to assemble together, but is probably the least effort way I can do it with the tools and the skills I have at this time. So that's what I will do, I guess. Kind of funny how that works. I have once again earlier made use of my printout from German House of Representatives. Well, the House of Representatives in Berlin, which is the German capital, which means it's the House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Germany. So this is a German House of Representatives for all practical purposes. To find out which car I'd let through, because I went in a hurry and they were just waiting there in oncoming traffic. I believe they may have been on their phone. Oh no. Diplomat reg, so that they frankly couldn't care less. Understand, very rightfully so, I guess. I should have been able to figure it out from the location, because it's the backside of a very prominent building. Turns out 0-140 is the Russian Federation. So that's something. Learn something new every day, you know. Now I know 134 is Hungary, and 140 is the Russian Federation. Interesting enough, I believe it's ascending with alphabetical order, so one can always roughly figure out where something is in the alphabet. Which is a funny way of thinking of it, but nah. I haven't even assembled my mirror mount for my parabolic mirror. I now have all that I need, or all that I believe I should need for it. I don't know if I'll be happy with it, but it'll work, so that's good enough, I guess. I'm yet undecided on whether I'll do it so it's self-standing or with a ring with which I can hang it onto a tripod or so. But I'll figure it out, you know. I believe the focal length of that mirror is 1 or 2 meters, which means I'll want to have a camera or projection surface to be filming off of. Either the two would work, theoretically. I'd want that roughly 4 meters away, which is perfectly fine for any space. I could probably shoot that in my flat, for hell, you know. Haven't made any progress on that. I have, well, no practical progress has been made, but I have been thinking about how I'd want to do it. And the mounting points for the parabolic mirror, as I got it out of the telescope, are just an equilateral triangle. And I reckon I'll probably just measure my mounting points and pre-drill the holes, and not try some funny stuff of putting some paint on one and dabbing it on the other. So I may even shape it nicely, but realistically I can't be asked. One thing I did get, which was probably the single most expensive thing I got in the DIY place, well, most certainly DIY department stores, I believe the correct translation for Baumarkt. which is brain. Let me think. Paint. I got some black spray paint, so once I got it all assembled, I'm gonna take the mirror off again, prime it all, and then spray it black, just so I don't got excess reflections or so. Because fuck that, you know. Just have it all nice matte black. I mean, it did cost a tenner for the spray paint, but I ain't going to use it all. And then I'll have matte black in my assortment for future uses. I already have matte white, and I already have most colours I ever use. But now I have matte black as well. I did have matte black, but only hammerite, so for metal. Rustol, or whatever the American brand name would be. But you can paint over rust with it, and it'll kill the rust. Well, surface rust anyways. And it'll prevent it from any future corrosion, so that's nice, you know. I already had that in black, but I didn't want to use that because that's more expensive than the regular stuff. I don't think I'll give it a clear coat, because that's just going to reflect itself. When I do get to shooting, I might spray it all with some dulling spray, but matte black should do the job, really. I am slightly concerned for if it's going to work, though it's a very well established mechanism and apparatus, I guess is the correct term. So I really shouldn't be concerned if it works or not, because in the end of the day, it worked for 50 plus years. I got all the right bits. For razor blade, I'm not quite decided on what I'll use it. I'll probably use a cardboard knife blade, because that's thin enough to separate light. I believe it's polarized light or non-polarized light, for getting into the camera. Yeah, I'm not sure about the polarized bit. Not a physicist. It's just my ballpark understanding of it. I have wondered for what I will film, but I've considered just doing a shadow of a Zippo lighter, illuminating and emitting a plume of fume before illuminate, and then a plume while it is burning, just because I always carry one on me, you know. Bet you that's a fun bit to film. In the end of the day, it don't really matter what I got. Another thing I've considered is doing the inverse of pouring cold air out over my shadow casting. So I then have shadow of air falling, which I can reorient and so on. But it's going to behave differently than if it were to rise. So, you know, particularly because it's cold, so there's lower pressure, so it contract, if at all, whereas hot expand, I believe. I'm not too worried about it, but I just got to get my arse going. I can't have depressed days in limbo much more, because I want to get the stuff over with. My appointment for my thesis defense have been rescheduled from the 11th of September. The Americans call it September 11th, so 9/11. To now be on, I believe, the 28th of August, which means still more than a month away, but you know, I got to hand in all the stuff on the 12th of August no matter what. So, looking like I'll be able to say I got my bachelor's degree by the time I intend to start working somewhere. I'll have a contract before then, I very much so hope so. I'd probably be willing to work without a contract, assuming I got a promised wage on the contract, but really I don't think I got to do that this time, because I ain't in a hurry. I've been thinking more and more about playing by the rules of our system, that is. Don't smoke, smoking kills. And by the spirit of the rules, or by the letters of the rules. And I believe I'm kind of conflicted, because the spirit, well, I got double standards, is the only way of putting it, really. I like the spirit when the letter of the rules are to my disadvantage, because components of the system do not work. And I like the letter when it works to my advantage. And that's the camera starting because I put in the ignition, so I got light. Ooh, because this cold light from over here, this is battery powered, but the warm light up here is just the dome light, so, you know. But that's something I'll have to sort. I believe I'll manage, it's just I'm not looking forward to it. We've got the time of 10:02 in the PM now, so when I drive back, the speed limits are all going to be 60% of what they are during daytime. For during daytime, they are 50. At night, which we have had for 3 minutes now, at least for the signs. The signs don't say night or day; they say time periods, which I choose to interpret as day and night. It's 30 kph, but I certainly don't mind because I like chilling and cruising. Chilling and cruising gets me to another point though. For the first stretch of this road, there was a car in front of me, a posh Merc, who drove like total shit, way below the speed limit, braking for no reason and so on. And for, I'd claim, at least 5 kilometers, though subjective, I haven't actually looked at dashcam footage, and I probably won't, to be fair. I'll probably just override the cardigan sometime when the time comes. Their phone screen light, backlight, was so bright one could see their face illuminated while they were driving. At one light, I shouted out the window, I'd be ashamed because I could see they had their window open. And then another couple of lights later, I shouted, well, you know, if you want to be on your phone, the subway's quite a good transport. After that, they put it away, so that's something, you know. Perhaps they did feel shame after all. Though I highly suspect they were just done with whatever they were doing on their phone. Their driving did improve, but not to be good. At best acceptable still, but you know. It's Berlin, what do you expect? It's kind of funny how all that works. I'm considering tomorrow going to my former place of internship again, in hopes of meeting one of the subletters who got a studio in the cellar, who might help out with the 5-volt low voltage electronics the other day, to ask them whether I can shoot my thesis film in their studio. Admittedly, I still have to do the layouting and the printing for my thesis itself, and I gotta drop my cigarette. Oh no, that's not good. Whoopsie daisy. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, found it. Haha. Ugh. Don't play with fire, kids. It can burn things. And if you're watching this as a kid, you might want to ask your parents if you should continue watching this, because, in my opinion, this should be at least parental guidance. I do want to ask them if I can use their studio, because most of the time they use their computer in their studio, and they just have the studio's green screen permanently set up. I don't care for the green screen, but I care for the space, and realistically I'd want to use lights from my former place of internship, or a point light source. Probably be happy with something like a 650 HMI or so. 650 watts, like not much, but it's good enough for what I got to do. Odds are I'll shoot at 1080, 120 FPS if I can. Might only be 100, we'll see. But then I don't got to deal with the artifacts of slowing it down artificially, and I got more data per time. And considering I do still intend on putting some symmetry in my actual thesis, I'm not concerned for the resolution, because the symmetry one can fix all that. For only 1/8 of the screen is the original source footage, and the other 7/8 are reflections of that. You know, as a way to make dealing with shit easy, I guess. You can export 8K even though you only shot 1080. Ooh. Though obviously at some point it become more CG than real footage, which I certainly do not mind for James Bond title sequences, which is what I've done a breakdown of and which will be somewhere in the subtitle of my thesis, are most certainly almost exclusively CG. I don't mind because, you know, it's easy enough. I can do it, I just don't like to do it. But I'll get to play a bit with Blender come late next week at the latest, I guess. Start on my post-production for my thesis film, assuming smoothing go shoot. Assuming smoothing go shooting. What? Shooting goes smoothly. There we go. Language hard. I'm new at this language thing. For please have patience. There we go. That's a thumbnail. Yeah, there's surprisingly little traffic here considering it's straight on from Cruisin, which is one of the major roads of the city, I'd claim. At least for vehicular and pedestrian traffic combined. I reckon I'm probably eat a bit more. Maybe not now, maybe later at a later stop or so. But I've still got 800 grams or so of food here, so that's something. I reckon I'll get to sleep like 1 AM or so. I ain't too sharp on sleep at the latest, so I'll manage, you know. Hope you'll manage too. Thank you very much for watching and sticking around and all this, you know, mean the world to me. Stay safe. Cheerio.